Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again for Drunkard's Walk. Thanks again so much for listening. A big thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Harmio for our artwork. And of course, a big thank you to our guest this week, Christopher DeFilippis from the Quantum Leap podcast. If you haven't checked them out yet, you can find them wherever you listen to your podcasts, or you can go to quantumleappodcast.com and get more information. We hope that you'll check them out for sure. They are a great fan podcast. They're a great podcast in general, even if you're not just a fan podcast. They're just a great podcast. So check them out. Give them a listen. And if you like what you're listening to here, head on over to our link tree. That's linktr.ee/drunkardswalk. You can send us suggestions for topics. You can get merch. You can send us emails. Whatever it is you like to do to interact with us, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much and enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to Drunkard's Walk, the podcast. It's me, Matt Hartman, one of your hosts for Drunkard's Walk. I'm here every week to make sure that you can follow along from one topic to another through Wikipedia. The topics are random in the way that we don't know what the topics are going to be because we get them from guests and we start where we left off. And it's a really fun process. If this is your first time listening, thanks so much for joining us. And you're noticing I'm saying us, I'm saying we. That's because it's not just me. Oh, no. It could never just be me. I need my other half of my dynamic duo, Jethro Nolan.
That's me. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Jethro.
And thank you. Hello, Matt. And thank you for acknowledging my presence and the necessity of having someone else.
Yes. It's vital. It's vital because I just can't. We've talked about it before. When I do it on my own, there is still a lot of arguing, but half of it's in my head. And so it's not nearly as entertaining.
There you go. Yeah. I tell you what, if they could hear the voices in my head, I'd never work again. No, that's true. That's true. I just from reading what you've scrawled on walls and things like that, I can tell that it is a disturbing place in there. It's very kind of you to not add in excrement. To that.
I wasn't gonna be specific about it.
It's implied.
I thought it was implied, but again, I didn't want to be specific. I didn't want to, say things that you might not want people to know. Jethro, this has been great. We are quickly approaching the end of season 8 here.
I know.
And it's, it's sad when a season comes to an end, but an ending is just a new beginning, as we always know. And our journeys are cyclical. So we always, kind of start and then I end up at the same point at the end. But this is not our last episode.
No.
This is the penultimate
episode.
Yes, the penultimate episode. So for this particular one, we don't know where we're going. We don't have a destination.
No clue.
And so we do what we always do. We bring on a guest to help us, to give us a destination. And Jethro, do you remember, I think it was it a season ago, I believe, maybe episode 11 of season 7, we had on 3 wonderful guests from the Quantum Leap podcast. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great.
Fantastic.
And it was so great, Jethro, that I reached out to them again and said, hey, how would y'all like to come back on and be our guests again? And 1 out of 3 of them said, yes, I absolutely would love to do that.
I mean, batting 333, we'd be Hall of Famers.
That's not bad. And so we have with us tonight, Chris DeFilippis joining us. How's it going, Chris?
It's going great. I'm just sorry for you guys. We're the dynamic trio, and you have the least dynamic of the trio. So apologies to everybody out there listening.
Oh, no, we are excited to have you here, Chris. I always, and I mean, don't tell the other 2 that I said this, and I don't know how they would ever find out because this is very private, this conversation we're having. Mm-hmm. I think you have always struck me as kind of the leader of the group. You always seem to be the one who's kind of like charting the course and steering the ship and making sure you stay on course. Am I describing it correctly, or have I misinterpreted entirely?
I will always say that the show consists of 3 hosts who bring equal things to the table. But you're absolutely right. There would be no show without me. There you go. I said it. No,
I wasn't going to go quite that far, but
you're the Matt Hartman of your podcast. There we go.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
I think what I bring to it is just a little bit of a broadcast background. So I'm really anal and straight edge about that kind of stuff. And sure. I think that I'm a giant big mouth with a giant ego. So when I get on mic, I can't help but railroad everybody. And then it becomes the Chris show. So yeah.
There you go.
I mean, but yeah, I would say that I do have a hand in keeping the organization for the podcast end of things, in motion. That's all.
Excellent. But, well, there you go.
The interviews, the YouTube channel, the video, all that. I don't have anything to do with any of that. I just kind of show up occasionally. So that's all Matt and Albie,
Right.
So,
exactly. Well, folks, if you haven't listened to the Quantum Leap podcast yet, if you're thinking, well, I don't watch Quantum Leap, I'm not a Quantum Leap fan, I've heard of it, but I don't really know. You should still listen to the podcast, folks, because they're fascinating to listen to. They're incredibly entertaining, and they go all over the Quantum Leap universe, right? So like recently I've been listening to a couple episodes about like the novels. Right. Yes. You guys have been doing the novels lately. And then also you've been replaying some of the interviews that you've had from season 1 of the new show, which has been great. And if you're not watching the new Quantum Leap, what are you doing? What are you waiting on? Get on that. They're going to start season 2, September-ish?
If all goes according to plan, yeah. They have, I think, something like 6 or 8 episodes in the can already, because they started their second season right after season 1 ended. They never took a hiatus. They always plan to take a hiatus now, and the strike is now. So we're in an odd position where Quantum Leap might be the only scripted drama to premiere in the fall, because it's the only one with episodes in the can already that haven't been affected by the writer's strike.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good plan on their part, if you ask me.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So Chris, tell us a little bit about, aside from the Quantum Leap podcast, I don't know if we got into this the last time you were on. What else do you do? What's your do you have like a day job or anything you do aside from the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I do have to work because I like food, and I like to have the occasional drink that I can bring on mic with you guys. I started out in broadcasting. I have a degree in journalism, and I was in broadcasting in local TV on Long Island. I live on Long Island here for about 25 years. And then that gig went away, and I shifted careers, and now I manage a medical practice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just the way, weird life, right? I mean, who would have thought? But like I said, I'm straight edge. I'm very anal. I like to run things. I always think, my way is the best way. So that played into all of my neuroses. And it's completely out of my field, but it still, fills that hole, that regimented hole inside of me that needs to make sure everything stays on the rails.
Sure. Yeah, I got it. I understand that. Well, that's cool. So, and you enjoy it? Like you like doing that? Like, is that something you want to keep doing, or are you looking for other
no. I always tell
avenues?
No, my coworkers. I mean, I love to do my podcasting. That fills my broadcasting itch, right?
Yeah.
And I love like being on like shows like your guys. I didn't discover podcasting until I lost that job in TV. I didn't even know what podcasts were. And one of the first podcasts I discovered was QLP. And before that, I had been doing some like radio segments for a local station here on the island, a science fiction show called The Flip Side. That's why all my handles are The Flip Side on social media. That has since gone away. I used to have a whole website with all that stuff, but now it's gone. So I can see me staying in the medical field because everything I love doing about broadcasting, I get to do by myself in my house with complete freedom, no real deadlines, and none of the bullshit that goes along with, working in TV, which can be very grueling, lots of long hours, and almost no remuneration. I mean, the pay sucks unless you're working in New York City. And even then you have to be an on-air personality, So yeah, this is a much better course for me in the future. I can see myself doing it as long as I have outlets like this to talk to you guys. There
you go. There you go. Now, I've noticed at the end of your episodes, it says that it's a Barren Space production. Is that your company?
No. Barren Space was the outfit that Albert Burge created when he created the Quantum Leap podcast. So there's a long history of the podcast that I think we went into on the last show, how Alice and Matt and I took over. So the person who created it before we took over was doing a number of other podcasts, and he created the entity, the umbrella Barren Space Productions. That's why it's a Barren Space production.
So it inspired me. Now I want to create a production company, but I want it to be Bear in Space Production. because when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, is that what they're saying?" Or are they saying? And then I saw it written, and I was like, "Oh, bear in space." Okay, so I can do bear in space, and that'll be no,
we
get away with it.
Sue you.
Dang it!
Our logo is a little bear in a space helmet.
Oh, well, that's perfect then. Okay, well then you did good. You got the same idea in your brain that I did when I heard it. That's fantastic. Well, good stuff. Jethro, do you have any questions here for Chris? Anything that you're dying to know about Quantum Leap, maybe, or the podcast in general?
No, I mean it all sounds like fascinating stuff. I'm more interested in the economics of broadcast journalism.
What economics? There are none.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
It's a very small slice of the folks who take the vast majority of the rewards and that stuff, and it's just heartbreaking because we need good journalism, and nobody wants to seem to pay for it.
So. Well, and I might be maybe not the best person to talk to. I mean, I loved broadcasting. I loved the idea of radio, but I was never like a dyed in the wool journalist. I went to journalism school because I can write very well, and it was the only practical application I could think of for being a good writer. So I never had any special love for it. Journalism is a calling. It's like nursing. Like you gotta love it, because it's all consuming. It's not like a career, it's a life choice. So and it just wasn't my life choice. I mean, I had the cushiest gig in TV you could ever have for 25 years. That went away, and I knew I was never going to match that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I get that. Well, excellent. Well, so we brought you on here to give us a destination for today. And so let's get to that. Let's find out what it is you got in mind.
Well, I was thinking about it, and since I am associated with the Quantum Leap podcast, I figured I'd try to stay on brand a little bit. And I'm also a Long Islander, as I've alluded to. So I thought, why don't I combine the two? Let's do time travel and Long Island. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this thing. It's called the Montauk Project.
No, I have not. So no.
Okay. Get your conspiracy helmets on. Wear your triangle hats, guys. Because
okay.
All right, so this is something that has its origins way back in 1943 with I think you've probably heard of the Philadelphia experiment.
Yes, I've seen the movie.
Okay. Yes. So for those of you who don't know who are listening, the Philadelphia experiment was supposedly an experiment during World War II, where they took a naval ship and they tried to render it invisible to radar, but instead it turned the entire ship invisible. And if you see the movie like portrays it happening, and then when the ship reappears, like there are guys like melded into the bulkheads, almost like a transporter accident, right? Matt? I know you'd appreciate that.
Yep. Oh,
yeah. And but in the movie, somebody jumps over the side of the ship and they travel in time, and they wind up in like 1980, whatever the movie came out in, right?
Right.
So the Montauk Project is stipulating that it is a continuation of that experiment and the technology that experiment unleashed. And it's essentially centers around an old abandoned Air Force Base out on the east end of Long Island. I'm sure you guys have heard of Montauk. It's become like a huge hipster destination over the last 6 or 7 years, especially during the pandemic. Now it's fairly overrun every season with the hipster crowd. But it used to be a very sleepy little town right at the end of Long. It's the easternmost point on the island. So there's a lighthouse out there, the Montauk Lighthouse, and Camp Hero, which is this camp, which is now defunct. It was an old Air Force base. According to the people who brought us this conspiracy about the Montauk Project, the culmination of all the things that happened since Project Rainbow, which was the umbrella that the Philadelphia experiment was under, culminated in the Montauk Project, which was a project at the Air Force Base in which they took psychics, sometimes against their will, and put them in what they called the Montauk Chair. In the Montauk Chair, the psychics could become attuned to the technology that was, on the base that they built.
Sure.
And they could do things like manifest solid objects just with the power of thought, or teleport things or people just with the power of their psychic abilities, and eventually open up portals in time. So, yeah. And
wait, is this is a story, or this is supposedly real?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So The basis for this is extremely dubious, obviously. There was a gentleman here, actually a few of them. There's a gentleman here on the island, his name was Preston Nichols, who was the one who sort of broke this open. Like, he discovered this with the relationship he drummed up with a guy named Al Bielek. Al Bielek was he was born in 42, 43, but he says he was somehow involved with the Philadelphia experiment and that he witnessed it. And he was actually living in like another body, like his consciousness transferred to this other. It's horseshit. It's complete gonzo nonsense.
Sure.
But it's a lot of fun. And
sure, yeah.
The thing is, here, I'll show you. I have a book called The Montauk Project, right?
Oh, okay.
It's a fairly slim book, self-published by Preston Nichols, right? And he's locally. It turns out this guy lived next door to one of my wife's aunts.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then, I mean, look at this. Once it became a cottage industry, it just became more Montauk Revisited.
Gotcha.
The pyramids of Montauk. I've been out to Montauk. Newsflash: no pyramids out there.
No pyramids there. Yeah. No. Yeah.
This purple koala and a spaceship on this book, whatever the hell this book is.
Wow.
But it became so ridiculously outlandish and kitchen sinky that you could tell it was just two people with increasing like mental issues feeding into each other to like ad infinitum. It gets nuts. But the core of it, which I always found intriguing because I'm a time travel fan and it's right here in my backyard on the east end of the island, was that they had some kind of time travel experiment supposedly here, that was centered at Camp Haro. I've been out to Montauk Point a million times.
Yeah.
And, you can still see Camp Haro is really distinctive for this radar dish that they have. It's kind of like a wide banana shaped radar dish. And it's kind of unusual. So that was another sort of lightning rod for them to say, hey, you see, like, this is a very unusual piece of technology. Of course, it must have been in support of these weird experiments. And Montauk being so remote, I mean, they had postulated that the base was actually covering a huge underground network of tunnels and bunkers that ran all the way into the town. Like, there's a hotel, a Montauk hotel. It was defunct for a number of years. It was just like this edifice that stood like a monolith in the center of town, and it was frequently dark because Montauk was not like a hopping place. There wasn't a lot to support the tourism there. So now it's different. Now it's because the East End is it's so hopping, and going on like past the Hamptons is the only way you can get out there and actually maybe have a chance of affording anything, really.
So the only grain of truth to this is that there is a military base out there.
There is a military base out there, and there was a person named Preston Nichols who lived on Long Island. Other than that, it's even funny because in the preface of the book, they even say, hey, there are different kinds of facts in this book. And some of this is predicated on hard facts that we can verify. Some of this is predicated on soft facts, which we've come to discover and believe are true. And then they call them gray facts somewhere in the middle, which means, and they even say you can read this as a scientific account or a real investigation, or if you like, read it as science fiction.
There you go.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and one last thing that might help you in your search, I don't know if it will, but have you heard of Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Apparently Stranger Things was in part inspired by the Montauk Project, and a working title for Stranger Things when it was in production was just Montauk.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Well, this is awesome. This is Jethro, this reminds me of our season 2 destination of John Titor.
Yeah.
Are you familiar, Chris, with the story?
No,
of John
you guys
Titor?
keep that behind a paywall, so I haven't heard season 2.
But do you know who John Titor is?
We got to make money too, man. Come on.
Yeah, sure we do.
No, I don't know who John Titor is.
So he is a supposed time traveler.
Oh, really?
And he wrote all of these things, and he wrote about all these things that were going to happen in the future. Look him up, Titor. And he's a guy it was like early internet days, right, Jethro?
Yeah, he was posting on all these early chat boards about like, I'm from the future and all this stuff's going to happen, and he became quite the meme.
Yeah.
In the early days of the internet.
Yeah. So sounds similar-ish. I mean, it's not. It's not the same. But
he had a lot of soft facts too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they all did the midnight shift on the Art Bell show together at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. It's certainly possible. Yeah. So. Well, this is awesome, Chris. This sounds like a really cool one to try to get to, and we're going to be going there from Kubernetes, which of course, as everybody knows, is somehow related to coding and stores online, and I still don't understand it, even though we traveled to it last week. But you can look that up as well. So before we let you go, I do have to ask you: Are you having a drink tonight?
Oh, I am. I knew I was going to be with you guys. So
okay,
so
all
I
right.
poured myself a little something.
What did you pour yourself there?
Well, you're going to be disappointed, Matt. I have a nice rye. Rye. Yeah, I'm.
Well,
I'm a fan of the ryes, and I like rye specifically, very much called Whistle Pig.
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
I've been out to their tasting room in Vermont where they distill it, and it's weird because they have different varietals. So this one is called Farm Stock Rye.
Okay.
And when I was at the tasting room, there was this one and one called Boss Hog, and I asked them about it in the tasting room. They're like, we don't know what that is. And I said, so you're telling me that some of your things are so like batchy and exclusive that if you see them, get them? And she said, yeah, you should. So I saw this one and I got it. So
there you go.
So the Whistle Pig Farm Stock Rye.
All
right. Now, is Whistle Pig another name for a groundhog?
I do not know. Maybe you guys can do a walk on that. It never even occurred to me.
I think I have a memory that my wife and I were in Canada. And we were at some diner there, and they had like an old menu posted where you can get like ham and eggs for $0.10 or whatever. And then one of the things that was listed there was Whistle Pig, and I was like, "What the hell?"
They drink rye for breakfast. That's all.
Well, I don't think it was rye, but it's interesting.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it is. It looks to be a groundhog.
There we go. All right, mystery solved.
So there you go. Yeah, weird.
Well,
although when you search Whistle Pig, the thing that comes up is the distillery. So. It's kind of buried.
Better. So while we're in the vein of disappointing Matt with our beverage choices, I'm drinking water tonight.
Yeah,
I lack the foresight to go out and buy something, so I'm gonna sadly be sober for this entire thing.
Well, and I took a trip down a totally different path as well. Instead of having my typical whiskey of any kind, I'm drinking a beer tonight. Because I was lucky enough to have some friends of mine brought me in some beer from Wisconsin from the New Glarus Brewery. It's called Spotted Cow, and you can only get it in Wisconsin. You cannot buy it anywhere else in the world. And so when I have some friends that live in Wisconsin, I have some friends that travel to Wisconsin. And so whenever they do, I say, hey, grab me a case of that. And then sure enough, they did. And so that is what I'm drinking tonight. It's a fantastic brew. And I don't get to drink it very often. So
very nice.
Feeling lucky tonight. Yeah.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Good stuff. Well, Chris, thank you again for coming back on the podcast. We really appreciate it. And keep up the good work on the QLP because I'm really enjoying listening to that. I can't wait till the new episodes start running and all of that stuff starts going over there because I just love listening to you guys.
No, I love listening to you guys, and it's kind of a thrill for me to be back on because I'm serious. You guys like have one of my favorite shows, and it's nice to be able to participate. You know, it's just cool. Fun. It's just fun. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys, and cheers, l'chaim.
Yeah, cheers to you as well, and hopefully we will be able to find our way to the Montauk Project.
All right. Good luck.
All right. Thanks so much, man. Take care.
Bye.
All right. The Montauk Project.
Yes,
now, Matt, we have some business to take care of in terms of guessing numbers and such.
We do that.
I think I'm gonna surprise you with the number I write down.
Is that what you think?
Oh yeah, you're gonna be well surprised. I've written down a number, and there's no way you can guess what it is.
I'm not gonna try to guess what it is. I'm just gonna write down my own number, even though I'm having real trouble deciding what number I want to write because this Montauk Project sounds like it's going to be really tough to get to, but every time I think that, then it isn't, and all right, I'm gonna
Matt, trust your instincts.
All right, I'm trusting my gut on this one. Let's see what we got.
All right, so
from Kubernetes, which I had a tough time describing, but It's an open source container orchestration system for automating software deployment, scaling, and management. So there you go. So it's a computer thing, and we're trying to get to a kind of sci-fi-ish sort of thing. So maybe there's something in here that'll help us. Oh, I see something already, Jethro. Oh my gosh.
I know exactly what you're seeing.
Look at this.
Go ahead and say it.
They codenamed Kubernetes Project 7 after the Star Trek X-Borg character 7 of 9. So we've got the Borg on here. We've got 7 of 9 on here. Oh, Star Trek, saving my bacon every day. I think that may be a good way to go, buddy. What do you?
It may be.
You like that? I mean, I know that's very, very near the top of the page, but are we going to find anything better than that?
I don't know that we would need to get to sci-fi so much as we need to get to conspiracy theories.
Oh, is that what you think?
That is what I think. Also, you've very kindly forgotten something I said with bluster and bravado last week, which was that Kubernetes had nothing to do with Star Trek.
But it totally does, because everything does. Yeah, clearly. It all comes back to Star Trek, man. It all comes back to Star Trek.
Yeah. All right.
So that being said, looking through the rest of this page, which isn't super short, but doesn't have a ton of links, I'm not seeing a whole lot that's closely related to conspiracy theories. In fact, I'm not seeing anything that's related to conspiracy theories, but, maybe Star Trek gets us into that vein somehow. I mean, again, Star Trek is related to anything. It's kind of like the Rome, all roads lead to Star Trek. So I'm just saying.
I think the thesis of the podcast is that everything is connected to everything else.
Oh,
I don't think you
forgot about that.
Through. I don't think you have to go through Star Trek to get there. I will say that we can very easily get to the internet from here. Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen the internet, but there's a whole lot of conspiracy theories on it.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't actually see internet itself linked on here. I see Google linked. I see Linux, and I see Red Hat.
I see Microsoft, and who runs, Microsoft, or who ran Microsoft for a considerable period and is featured prominently in many conspiracy theories, a gentleman by the name of Bill Gates.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if we got into Star Trek, though, we could get into military, and military is going to get us into like World War II, and then that might get us into I don't know. I still like going through Borg or 7 of 9. I'm not as bad. Don't feel like as good of a thing, but Borg I like. Star Trek itself, to be clear, is not actually linked, but Borg, I kind of like Borg.
All right. So there are 2 Borg links that I can see. One of them is a link to the cluster manager used by Google. It is the second Borg link, which takes us to the alien group within the Star Trek fictional universe, which
correct.
Is the one we're going to click on. All right. You know what? It's your birthday, so I don't want to.
It's not my birthday, but thank you for thinking that it is. And let's do it. Let's go to Borg, baby.
Right. Here we are. The Borg are an alien group that appear as recurring antagonists in the Star Trek fictional universe. Matt, did you know that?
I did, as a matter of fact. And I'll tell you what, Jethro, I think the Borg, when they were introduced, one of the really the coolest kind of enemies that's the Star Trek characters ever really faced. And then as time went on, they kind of made the Borg less interesting in my opinion. But they started out very cool, and through like Best of Both Worlds, I would say they were pretty great. And then from that point on, even in First Contact, it's just not. I don't know. They did some things they brought in a Borg Queen and things like that, and it didn't do it for me quite the same way. But yeah, here they are, and we have all kinds of links in here to all sorts of different Star Treks, obviously.
There is a link to Hive Mind.
Yes, I see
that. Makes me think about conspiracy theorists. Now, this may be, it looks like when you hover over the link that it's more specifically its use in terms of like science fiction. So it may not be great from that perspective, but it's definitely interesting and has piqued my interest.
Yeah, I agree. I saw Hive Mind. I didn't mind that. I'm looking to see if there's other things in here that are related to something along the lines of what you were talking about before with conspiracies.
There is a link to popular culture.
Okay.
At the beginning of the introduction section, and again, popular culture can have false information in it that might be interesting, including conspiracy theories and such.
Interesting. I don't hate it. I'm trying to see if there's anything related to like the military, because I thought maybe military might be the way to go here. But I'm not actually seeing a whole lot that is.
I see directed energy weapon.
Okay.
Which is military, I would think.
Yeah, but I mean, I was talking like Navy or Air Force or something like that. Like I was talking very directly to.
Okay.
Something military, not something like a specific military branch, perhaps, or something like that.
Gotcha.
Which I'm not seeing right now.
Now there are specific episodes listed here, and me not knowing, but you likely knowing, are there specific episodes in which time travel is a plot feature, which could get us to time travel, which might get us to Montauk experiment.
Yeah, absolutely. So Star Trek First Contact is listed on here. There's time travel in that. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, is on here. Also a time travel story. So those might be, that's a good call, going through time travel. I like that. I hadn't thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
I do like it. I was looking to see if actually time travel itself was already linked on this page, because there is quite a bit of time travel associated with this type of stuff. A lot of Borg stories involve time travel as well, but I don't see anything other than those two. The second season of Star Trek Picard involves time travel as well. No spoilers. Yeah, but I like that. I like any of those ones to get into time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you like better? Do you like Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home?
Well, I mean, this is a pretty substantial page. Should we?
It is.
Make sure that we don't see time travel specifically listed on here.
So I've looked. I did not see it, but it's possible that I've missed it.
Okay, fair enough.
Take a look around, see if perhaps I've missed something. I don't think I have, but I could have.
Or is it desirable to get out of Star Trek altogether?
No, I mean, I really like your time travel idea. I don't say that a lot, so I think you should really latch onto it.
I appreciate the
I like your idea here. It hadn't occurred to me, and it seems like a good one.
All right, so Star Trek 4 is big on the time travel. What's the most time travel-y one in which time travel is going to be linked?
I mean, Star Trek 4 and Star Trek First Contact will both have time travel very heavily linked in them. I mean, they're very closely. Also, I want to say that Star Trek Enterprise is linked on here, which could get us to Scott Bakula, who was in Quantum Leap. So I have to make that connection here. I know we're not going to do that because that's too many steps, but it is there. So just FYI.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the shout out to Chris.
Yep. Quantum Leap Podcast. There you go. I'm gonna vote for Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, because that's everybody who is not a Star Trek fan. That's the one movie that they are a fan of, because it's
that's the one where Scotty picks up the mouse and says, "Computer."
Yes, that's right. Hello, computer.
And they have to go
just use the keyboard.
Some whales or something.
Yeah.
All right.
They
so
get the
where is the link for Star Trek 4?
Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, is linked under other non-canon media appearances. It is in the very first line in the Star Trek novel Probe, which takes place following the events of Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. The Borg are mentioned obliquely in communication with the whale probe as spacefaring mites.
All right, then. Let's do it. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
I love it. I can't believe this is the best episode ever.
One of the few Star Trek movies that I've watched.
See, that's what everybody's seen this one, because it's actually fun to watch. And I'm assuming that time travel will be mentioned almost immediately.
Travel back in time is linked.
Oh, okay. And it takes you to what? Time travel. Okay, there you go.
Travel. All right, so that's certainly a possibility here.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. I like that a lot. I don't know. Well, aircraft carrier is on here. Mm-hmm. And as you may recall, the Philadelphia experiment, I think, involved an aircraft carrier. So
did it involve an aircraft carrier or just a naval ship?
Oh, maybe not.
I don't. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I remember it being a ship and not an aircraft carrier.
I might be thinking of the Final Countdown,
which I have not seen.
Which I always mix the two movies up. But that one is definitely an aircraft carrier. So, but it does get us into like, modern military and things like that. Oh my gosh, I just read a thing here that I didn't know.
What?
It says Nimoy chose Catherine Hicks after inviting her to lunch with Shatner and witnessing a chemistry between the two. The role was originally written for Eddie Murphy as an astrophysicist at Berkeley.
Wow.
Eddie Murphy was supposed to be in this movie.
That would have been a different movie.
Yeah, I'll say. Crazy. This is the movie where Lieutenant Savick leaves them, and it's implied that she stays behind on Vulcan because she's pregnant with Spock's child, because she was with him during Pon farr in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
Matt, wake up.
What's going on?
You're dreaming.
Where am I?
You went into a Trek trance.
Oh, hey, Jethro. Yeah. Hey, we should do the podcast this week. What do you want to...
No, I finished it 3 hours ago.
Should we get a guest? What? Where am I?
So I'm going to suggest we go with time travel.
Okay. You don't want to go to Super Bowl, which is linked on here?
No, I don't, actually.
I see Time After Time, which is another movie. I wonder if time travel... Yeah, time travel could get us into the Philadelphia experiment, which could get us to where we want to go. Or hey, maybe this Montauk project is on the time travel page, right? I mean,
it could be.
That's a possibility. This is a huge page, by the way.
Yeah, it's almost like there are a lot of nerds on the internet who want to talk about Star Trek endlessly.
I mean, there are, and we do, and I wish that more would talk to me. I'm just looking to see. I want to make sure that like there isn't a link to, because there's a lot of different movies linked on here I'm finding now, and I want to make sure that because like Crocodile Dundee is on here. I want to see if the Philadelphia experiment,
famous time travel movie.
No, not at all. But it just came out around the same time. Aliens is linked to it. There's a lot of names of movies linked. Is all I'm saying. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I don't see it. So, time travel. You're saying?
Technically, travel back in time is the
text. Yeah, but it takes us, I believe, to time travel. So let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, it takes us to time travel in fiction.
Oh, as opposed to all of that real time travel that's happened, huh?
Fair enough. But I guess the purists would argue that serious actual discussions of real time travel as a physical possibility and purported incidents that actually happen, soft facts, if you will,
soft facts, yes,
would not belong on a page that is admittedly fiction.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we shall see. I do like this page a lot, though, because time travel is one of my favorite genres. I own this great book called The Time Traveler's Almanac, and it's just a collection of short time travel stories. And if you're a time travel fan, check that out. It's a really fun one. There's a lot of really great little stories in there. Now,
do you find that you're able to find stories that have like a new twist on it, or is it seems to me that like time travel gets caught up in like, oh, look how you've changed the past, which has ramifications in the present. Like it feels to me like there's not a lot new from a narrative perspective, which is not to say I don't enjoy some time travel stories.
Mm-hmm.
But
there are definitely some stories that are different. I wish I could give you some great examples. I cannot off the top of my head. The last time travel movie I watched though was See You Yesterday, which if you haven't seen, it's on Netflix. It's very, very fun. It does go into those same types of things that you're talking about, but it does it in a way that is a little different. And I really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. So I do recommend it. See You Yesterday. That's what that's called. So I am not... Let's see. The Man in the High Castle's on here. Source Code I've seen here. Paradoxes. The butterfly effect and the mention of the movie, The Butterfly Effect.
Which is a terrible movie.
Yes. Absolutely.
I watched
absolutely
that. I watched that a few months ago with my brothers, and it's just god awful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's very bad. It is very, very bad. I am not seeing any of the things that we were hoping to see.
So there is a link to time travel, which takes us to the non-fictional, legit time travel page.
Okay. I also see the list of films featuring time loops and the list of time travel works of fiction. So the question becomes, do you consider those books that he was talking about works of fiction? And if you do, because they were self-published, would they even be listed on a page like that?
I mean, I certainly think that they're works of fiction, but the authors of those do not.
Well, they did say that you could read them as if they were a work of fiction, right? So
yeah, but that's they're kind of backtracking. They're
no, I agree. I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying, and that's why I brought it up and said.
I mean, it's kind of like is the Bible fiction? So a lot of people would argue that it should not be placed in fiction because they believe it to be true. Others would say yes, it does belong there.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah. So I would probably be inclined to go to legit time travel rather than the page that we're on now, which is fictional time travel.
All right. And where did you see this time travel link? Because I'm not seeing it.
So there is under mechanisms, which is near the top. It's the first section. The very first link is time travel.
There it is. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's go there.
All right. Time travel.
Which is where we kind of thought we were going before, but sorry.
It is true. We did think we were going there, but we ended up taking a brief detour through
time travel and fiction. Yeah.
Fiction. Yeah. Now there are mentions of quantum mechanics. So quantum leaps, obviously relative there. History of the concept of time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Which can that even be believed? Because I'm sure if anybody ever was successful, then they would go back in time and mention it before these historical incidents.
So well, unless you believe in the multiple timelines, multiverse kind of theory, in which if you went back, you would be going back to a different timeline, which would not have you having had done that, right?
Fair enough. The many worlds interpretation.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of different things possible. This is interesting too. I did read a book one time called Time Travel in Einstein's Universe, which went through into many of the same things that are on this page about like, well, if you were going to do it, here's how you could do it, but it's not possible because of these reasons, and except it is possible because of these. It's an interesting thing to examine. This is very much about like the physics of what it would take to travel through time. And you know what's linked on here? The Fermi paradox.
Nice.
Right back to Fermi.
There you go. It's a really long page with really like they take the idea seriously.
Oh yeah.
But what I'm not seeing here is a list of purported time travel incidents.
Yeah, or anywhere. Conspiracies, or I don't.
Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry.
What do you got?
I should have gone down to my see also.
Yes.
Right away. See also time travel claims and urban legends. That's where we want to go, friend.
Yes, I agree. I believe John Titor's going to be on there as well. But yeah, I agree 100%. I don't think there's anything else even worth looking at here.
All right, time travel claims and urban legends.
There it is.
Here we go. The Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain incident. Yeah.
All right. The Palace of Versailles. Oh.
Chaplin's time traveler.
Okay. How about the present day hipster at the 1941 bridge opening? These things are always crazy. Have you ever seen these where they're like, look at this picture. It proves that somebody traveled through time.
John Titor is here.
Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be?
Oh, wait a minute.
What do you got?
I looked on the left-hand side, and if you go down to alleged time travel technology,
the
fourth one listed there is the Philadelphia Experiment and the Montauk Project.
Yes, it is. The Philadelphia Experiment is a name given to a naval military experiment which was supposedly carried out at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA, sometime around October 28th, 1943. And you'll see there it is a destroyer, I think, the DE-173. But yeah, indeed, there it is. The Montauk Project was alleged to be a series of secret United States government projects conducted at Camp Hero, or Montauk Air Force Station on Montauk, Long Island. So there's a link. Should we go to it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yes, indeed. There it is. The
Montauk Project is a conspiracy theory that alleges that there was a series of United States government projects conducted at Camp Hero or Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, New York, for the purposes of developing psychological warfare techniques and exotic research, including time
travel.
There it is.
Indeed.
Matt, we did it.
Yes, we did. I can't believe it. And not a super long page to get out of next week. Or maybe to get back to this week, because we've got to talk about our predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Let me take a look at how many it took us here. It looks like it took us 6 to get from Kubernetes to the Montauk Project. Jethro, I guessed 6.
So did I.
Oh, no! Oh, my goodness. We're both brilliant. And now we've got to do it again. All right. We got to do it. We got to do a speed run here, I guess, as we say. So we're going back to Kubernetes. And we cannot leave through Borg, but that's our only real thing that's stopping us from getting out of here. So I guess I know where I'm going to go.
7 of 9.
Yeah. Should we say that that's off limits too? Is that not fair?
No. It's a different link. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to go through Microsoft.
All right. Let's do it. You're going to Microsoft. I'm going to 7 of 9. And I'm hoping that there's a link to time travel or one of those time travel stories on here. Yeah.
All right, I've got mine.
You do you? You've got yours? Okay, I was going to go through and see if I could find a different one, but I do see a link to Star Trek First Contact. Where are you going?
I'm going to Bill Gates.
All right, Star Trek First Contact and Bill Gates. All right, let's see what we got here. Bill Gates, you're trying to do your conspiracy theories here again, huh?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Oh no. Oh, this is going to be bad news for me, I think. Because unlike Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, this one doesn't seem to have a link to time travel on it.
Oh no.
Perhaps I just haven't found it yet, but yikes, how is that possible? Dream Sequence is linked on here. Oh, Lord Almighty. How is this possible? There's a lot of Star Trek things talked about. There's a lot of blue screen, zero gravity, the Delta Quadrant, which, as we all know, that's where the Borg are from. The Delta Quadrant, right? I mean, you knew that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, sure
you did. Sure you did. Oh, Lord Almighty. Oh, what's happening here? Is this really possible that they don't have... I've got Moby Dick in here. Independence Day.
Good for you.
Yeah. Isn't this all amazing? Have you found anything yet that you're
Oh yeah, I've got mine.
Oh, you've got your... Oh, you should have told me that you had yours. I'm not allowed to just go on forever here, because if you already have yours, I have to find something. I'm going to jump up here real quick and make sure I didn't miss time travel or travel through time. And if I didn't, then I'm going to have to figure out something else. Yep. No, it's just not in here. Yeah.
All right. Feel like you're stretching out.
I am. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh, wait. I have it. Time travel. I'm going to time travel.
All right. Good for you. I'm going to Jeffrey Epstein.
All right. Cool. Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry I even took as long as I did.
All right. I've got mine.
Okay, so do I. Time travel claims and urban legends.
All right. I'm going to conspiracy theories.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to go to the Montauk Project.
Okay. I'm also going to the Montauk Project.
No, are you serious?
Give me a minute. Maybe it's on.
Oh, I see.
No. Come on now. All right, you beat me.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if the word conspiracy. Oh, conspiracy theory is linked on the Montauk Project page.
Mm-hmm.
I think you read it actually. So, but Montauk Project isn't on your conspiracy theory page?
No. There's probably a link that's like list of conspiracy theories.
Oh, okay. I did it. Hey, I won it.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Well done.
Doesn't matter. Now you have to mow your lawn twice. Well, there we go, everybody. We have done it. We have made it. We are there. And yeah, this is amazing. This has been great and a lot of fun. And what a cool topic to travel to. Something I've never heard of before. And it'll be interesting next week, Jethro. It's our last episode.
Oh no!
Of the season here, and we've got to get from Montauk Project all the way back to where do we start? Ball lightning. Yes. Well, I don't know. Maybe that'll be easy. Or maybe it'll be terrible. Well, you have to tune in next week to find out, folks. And we'll tell you. We'll tell you all about it, right?
Indeed, we shall.